Hey everybody, this is Melina from ScrapbookingwithME.com and Me Crafty Scrapper here on YouTube and Instagram. I wanted to do this project with you today that is a very simple journaling card, and it is mixed media, but don't let that scare you if you aren't into mixed media, because this is very simple. With mixed media, you always need usually always need some kind of paintbrush or something to apply the mixed media with. So paintbrush, dauber, spatula of some kind. Okay. And then you also usually need water. So I'm not counting that as my 3. Those two things, I'm not counting it as my 3 because you have to have that for mixed media anyway. So for this mixed media, we are going to be using small die cuts. So I have just some little bits and pieces, little bitty fussy cut things, and I even have a fall theme in there. So maybe I'll do something with a little bit of fall colors. But you just need some small die cuts of some kind, whether you fussy cut them or they come from a die cut pack. Then you need some kind of paint. Today I'm using things like Stickles, liquid pearls, Nuvo drops, even the Studio G cheap stuff you get at department stores. So any kind of paint that you have on hand. You do not have to use liquid pearls. And then I'll be inking around the edges. So I'm counting my distress ink as one of my 3 items. So distress ink, die cuts, and some type of paint. That's all you need for this project. And of course, I'm not counting my paper cardstock bases as one of the items. If you're making journaling cards, you automatically have some type of cardstock or paper that as your base. So not counting that as one of my 3 items. Okay, so I have a couple of craft pieces, and then all the rest are just white cardstock, and it's that basic 110-pound pure white cardstock. Okay, so we're going to start with a white one. And I do know that this is white here, so it might be a little difficult to see on camera. So I'm going to put my non-stick mat down. It is shiny, so you're going to get some glare. I apologize. Nothing I can do about that. I have my mat folded in half, so that way I don't have to move everything. I can just do it here and then move it as I need to. So I'm going to move up all of my little card bases. Okay. And I'm going to start with some neutral colors. Let's do a neutral one before we get all happy and do some type of bright colored one. Okay. So this is a sparkly brown. This is a champagne color. Antique rose is actually what it's called. And then I've got a rose gold and then a gold pearl. So let's start with these and see what we come up with. Okay, I want to start with this Nuvo drop one. This is the antique rose. And I'm going to get my paintbrush that is just flat. It is a 1/2 inch wide paintbrush. Okay, so I'm going to put Nuvo drops on one edge, this one color on one side of the paintbrush there. And then I'm going to get a different one and put it on the other edge of the paintbrush. You might want to move your journaling base, journal card base, just in case some of this drops off. Okay, So I have 2 colors on my paintbrush, and I just put them on freehand on there. All right, and then I'm just going to start standing up with my paintbrush and then just go down. And just make a line until I am happy with how it looks. So very subtle, different shades there. Okay, then I'm going to wash off my paintbrush. And then I've got a paper towel here on the edge that I'll just get all the excess off. Okay, then let's go with this same antique rose color. I'm going to fluff up my brush just a little bit so it's got something to sit on. But then I'm going to put a different color on the other side. Okay, so here's that. Okay, I'm going to have to work on that one. It is stuck big time. All right, so here is the gold pearl. I'll put that on the other side of this one. Okay, so I've got my 2 colors, and then right beside it, straight down onto your paper. Look at that, how pretty. Love that. And then come down and just make a similar brush line as you did here. I almost hate to waste that. But it is just barely a little bit on your brush. It's not like we're wasting a lot of paint. Okay, and then let's do maybe this brown one and that same nuvo. So start with fluffing up our brush, that same antique rose on the one side, and then this cinnamon stickles on the other side. This is a sparkly one. Okay, and then head straight down. Oh, that's pretty. And then come down with it until you are satisfied. Now that sparkly one is not going to give you as much coverage as the Nuvo drop one is. I like that though. It gives 3 different types of dimension to your card. Okay, clean off that paintbrush, and you're done with it for the moment. And then I'm going to get that same Nuvo drop and put little bits of splatter just from the Nuvo drops around on the card. So you're barely touching, and then you touch a little bit harder, and barely touching and touch a little bit harder, just to get your different little dots on there. And you're just barely squeezing on that. And then I think I will do a few gold ones. In this, yes. Let's do a few little, just a dot or 2. This one comes out very fast, so the Stickles sparkly one comes out super duper fast, and it globs a little bit when it comes out. Okay. And maybe one right there. All right. Okay, so that is what we have so far. Isn't that pretty? I love that. It's like you're making a little palette for yourself. Also, did I say these are 3x4 cards? I will remember when I'm editing to put that number at the very beginning of the video. These are 3x4 cards, pieces of cardstock. Now, I've got the Walnut Stain Distress ink, and without touching any of my dots, because they're not dry yet, I'm just going to go around and ink my edges. Okay, and then as long as you are not touching any of the dots that you have made with your paint, you can decorate. So I'm thinking that I want to add this little die cut here and just cut that off whenever I glue it on, but I'm going to try to keep it away from my dots that I have made. And then, oh yeah, I like that. So put on my little floral die cut like that, so where there's no dots of paint. And then add this. Even miracles take a little time onto there. And then you have the entire back of it as a journal spot, and you can journal on that. This is just giving you a different way to make journaling cards. Not all of them have to be collaged. Not all of them have to be all vintage all the time. You can add these, once this is dry, add this to any journal you would like. Next, I'm going to make one with the craft cardstock. I think that will be very pretty. But now this is just regular paper. It is not a cardstock that I'm putting on here, so it's not going to make it too thick. And I'm just going to put this on, and hopefully none of my glue that's on the back of it will get on any of the paint dots I have made. And then I'll get my little bitty quilling bottle that's got glue in it, that's got the fine tip, and then I will put some glue on the back of this little phrase die cut, and then add that across the front. So pretty. I will set this aside and let it dry. We can do another with the same swipes, but maybe in the middle, and do a die cut at the top and the bottom. Let's try that. All right, let's use white opal liquid pearls, and then this is platinum pearl, and then this is the rose gold like we used, and then this one is avocado. All right, so paintbrush, and let's start. I'm going to start in the middle, and I'm going to do just avocado all over the point of my paintbrush. If it will come out. You know, sometimes you have to really be firm with these liquid pearls after you've had them a little while. They get all clumpy inside. All right, here it's coming out pretty good now. Let's get that good and covered. Okay, and then point at the, and then point right at your card. I'm going to go in the middle more on this one. Add liquid pearls just to the middle. I'm loving that already, which of course, I love paint and I love mixed media, so this is right up my alley. Y'all know I do what I love, and I show y'all what I love, don't I? Okay, here is rose gold. I'm putting it on the one side like we did that other card. And then I'm going to do white opal on the other side of the paintbrush. Oh, that's pretty already before I even put it on the card. Okay, right in the middle, straight down. Pretty. Oh, I love that combo. That is very pretty. I think I'll do the same thing on this other side, so no need to wipe off your paintbrush. Do the rose gold on that side and the white opal on the other side. And then I want to get rose gold on that side. Okay, so straight down. And then just do a few strokes until you're happy with how it looks. Pretty. Okay, and then wash off. Okay. And then I think I will get the one we haven't used yet that I picked out in the very beginning. This platinum pearl. And I'm going to put it all the way across my paintbrush. Okay. I'm going to hold my card down. And I'm just going to do a simple little swipe. And then just go over that a few times. Pretty. I'm just going to wipe this off. It's already still got water on it, so just wipe that off. Okay, and then I'm going to do some dots of color. With the liquid pearls themselves. And then walnut stain again around the edges. I'm going to get this one a little dirtier than I got the other one. And just making sure not to get into the paint at all. You don't want to mess up any of the little specks and dots you've made. Okay, with this one, I'm going to cover a little bit of the paint that I've put on there, but not too much. I'm going to ink the edges of these little tiny pieces of die cut. I think maybe a touch of the top might be cut off a little bit, but not too much. And if it is, I can just go back and distress ink the other ones. So I'm going to place them like this. I'm going to go ahead and put my glue on the backs of them and place them down. That's not enough at the top that I would cut that off, so I think I'm going to leave that as is. Pretty. I love that one. I love the shine that's on that one. Very pretty. Okay, so there is one, and here is the other. Pretty. I like those. All right, let's do one where we cover the entire card with paint. So here is rose gold, and I'm just gonna put quite a few squiggles of it on there and get my paintbrush a little wet, not drenched, but a little wet, and then just start spreading it out all over the card. And you've got to get to it before it dries, because then you'll have the little squiggle marks you put down in the very beginning will be on your card and visible on your card. So get to it before it starts drying. And even if you can see your paint strokes, I'm okay with that, because it shows that, you know, it was a DIY project and you did it yourself. We're not professional painters here, so do whatever you would like. But if you feel the need that you have to get those paint strokes perfectly cleaned up, go for it. All right, so I'm really liking that. Clean off the end of my stylus, clean off my paintbrush. Okay, so I really love how that looks. That is like very shimmery, and it is antique-y looking all at the same time. I love that. And then I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead and put on a die cut. And I think I want to add just like half of this. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it. This medallion die cut that was just in my stash. I have no clue what collection it came from, but I'm thinking like this. Let's go ahead and ink the edges of it. So we're still sticking with paint, die cuts, and ink. That's our 3 things we're using with these simple journaling cards. I love that. That's pretty. That is very pretty. Let's look here. Thoughtful, and get a larger piece, maybe this little library card, or maybe this butterfly. That's pretty. There, and add thoughtful underneath it. Ooh, I like that. And then we'll add some dots of paint around the edges after we get it decorated. I'm liking that idea. Okay, I'm going to add it toward the bottom, so not in the middle. Okay, like so. And then I will ink the edges of this too, and ink the little butterfly piece. Why I'm still holding that in my hand, I don't know. All right, and then I'm going to put glue just kind of in the middle and like make a little T on the butterfly. And put it on the edge of the medallion like so. Then that little word phrase close to it, making a little cluster of sorts. Oh, pretty. I like that. I really like that. All right, and then I'm going to go with the Antique Rose Nuvo drops and make a few little dots, some tiny ones and then some bigger ones. Oh, I like that. Pretty. And then I will ink the edges in my Vintage Photo Oxide, and I'll hold on here to make sure that I don't get my fingers in any of the little dots of Nuvo drops I have made. So there's that one finished. I like that one. I think it's my favorite so far. Really like that one. I'm going to move this away so all of that can dry. Let's do another craft one, and I'm going to use this Platinum Pearl, and I'm just going to do a few little squiggles and do some painting with it, but maybe not cover it all like I did the white one there. All right, I just barely got my paintbrush wet. Piece of fuzz or something. I'll do that there and that one there. And that there. I think I want a little bit more. I love painting with liquid pearls and Nuvo drops. They're very inexpensive too, so you don't have to worry about spending a lot of money on paints and things. If you just want to dabble in it, then you can use liquid pearls and Nuvo drops to find shades of paints that you really, really like, and then maybe buy full acrylic bottles of paint in those shades later, after you try the little sampling of paint from the bottles of liquid pearls and things. Now, I bent this card while I was talking and painting at the same time, but it will be fine. It will eventually straighten back out. Okay, and then let's figure out what we want to put on this card. Okay, I like that little setup, that little cluster here. So I'm using the walnut stain to ink all of the edges of these little pieces, and hoping that I kind of remember my cluster setup here. And I won't have to ink this entire thing because I'll have to clip that end off. Cute. Cute little cluster. All right, so glue on the back of this one. Way too much glue, I might add. And I'm just going to put them on there willy-nilly. There is no getting it perfectly straight in my book, because if I tried to do that, we would be here all day. Nobody has time for that. on my videos anyway. Okay, I think I will move that over a touch and up some, and then I'll put this piece on. I don't want to really cover up that butterfly, so I'll just fix it how I need to here. And everything's kind of moving around because that background is still wet, so we're getting a lot of movement. But I'll get it fixed here in a second. Yep, I like that. Move postcard down just a touch. There we go. And then just kind of dab off any excess glue. Cut this off. There. Add my inking around the edges. And if you're not using oxide, like on this one, I'm not using the oxide ink as my inked edges. And so you're going to get resistance from that paint. So you're just going to see the ink where there's not paint, especially once it dries. See that? I like that effect. So you're really just going to see this inked edge show up where there's not paint on the edges, because I'm just using regular distress ink and not the oxide ink. Now that is a very cool effect. I hope you can see that, and I will leave some still shots at the end too. That is a very cool effect with that ink, where it's just showing up where there's not paint. I love that. All right, now let's add a few of the rose gold dots and spots. So I really love that one too. Cute. All right, so we have made this one. We have done this one. That's our two craft ones. And then we have this white one. I'm going to move this over so you can actually see it. Not up against that. And then we have this white one that we covered completely. I'm trying my best to make sure not to put my hand in the little spots. So this is an easy way, simple and easy way to make some different journal cards. You don't have to just use paper. You can use paint on your journaling cards, and you can just make simple strokes and make very cute and different journaling cards. I love going outside the box when I'm doing making ephemera pieces and cards and tucks and things for my journals. And I hope that you like that too, because you're here on my channel. So if you've not subscribed, please give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and I will be back with even more paper crafting ideas, things to go in journals, card fronts, traveler's notebook things, all kinds of paper crafting. I have this master board that I am about to make into a journal cover and make the journal for that. So stay tuned for that video also. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I will leave you still shots at the end so you can get up close and personal details of this, and there won't be, hopefully, that light glare there for you too. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, y'all.